Much with the recording. I found a video from last year, and I could prepare for that session just by rewatching my own video.
Although I still have to upload the last one, I haven't done it yet, but I will do it soon.
Okay. And I will tell to everyone, if you hear me well, please write into the chat hello, hi, something like this. And if you don't hear, then I will just see that in the chat no one is writing and we will do something. As usual, it would be super cool if for a second you turn on your video and just wave your hand. That would be also very pleasant to us. Now, I hope that in the future, hello, Akman, I can see you. So it's now the real world and the virtual world. I can see you on the screen, those who are in the Zoom, and also we have one person in the auditory, but you don't have this label with your name.
No, I am Jesus.
Jesus, very nice. Nice to meet you here.
Nice to meet you.
Good, Jesus. I think we have like 1 more minute and we can start. Let's begin. So today's topic is research management, and I haven't. Do you see my screen? Is it shared? Yes.
Yes, it's
great. It used to be bibliography management, and today I just renamed it research management. And the reason is that I was rewatching a video from the last year, and then I already gave this idea that basically whatever you do with your research, you kind of micromanage it. And one of the aspects is bibliography. It's just one of the aspects. But you have this general attitude that you have different kinds of things. In the laboratory, for example, you have glassware, you manage it. In the computer, you have bibliography, you manage it. Then you have your staff management. That means you also sometimes interact with your supervisor. If you have a project, you will have a project management. And I will come back to this idea of project management at the very end. However, the main focus is, of course, on the bibliography management today. And I can go to the next slide. You can enter this tiny URL address. I copy the link to the chat. And okay, that was an exercise in Google Docs. In case we come all here and we have some time. This is an exercise actually about what are you going to do in spring, alone, together with your family, with others. And this is super cool exercise, especially for Jesus or Arpana, who are guests in Estonia. And if you know some cool things you can do in Estonia, please write there. And again, this exercise just highlights how you can do collaboratively some work online with tools like Google Docs. Last time, you have answered the questionnaire, and I'm showing you some results. I would like to express my good feeling that this spring, most of you are using some kind of bibliography management system. Only one person answered no, maybe 2 persons, I think only one. But as you can see in the past, there were groups where almost half of the attendants didn't know anything about bibliography management with Zotero, or maybe anything. They just didn't use any software for that. And it seems there is a trend, I hope so, that in the future I wouldn't even need to talk about Zotero because you will be so natural in that. And the future students will be just aware beforehand that there are some software. Anyway, we still have this opportunity to discuss Zotero and different aspects, and I would like to present it in a bit different way. So first of all, in the recent years, there were fields developed so many tutorials and videos. One of them I'm giving here, and I will share the presentation so you will be able to click all the links. The first link is to a typical tutorial, which is about 20 minutes long, and you can learn basically everything you need to know about the term just by watching, perhaps during the weekend or maybe during the evening, preparing your food. Turn it on your mobile phone, and you will learn something basic. I also put some links to my own videos, and we have the same videos on the webpage of the course and the communication center. One of them is 2 years old. This is more or less actual. Another one is already 9 years old, and there are still some interesting ideas in that video. But while I'm saying that, I was recording videos which are very long. They had 4 parts, different aspects. For entertainment, just find some short videos on YouTube. It's not a luxury anymore. You can find so many materials. What I'm exclusively giving to you are the workflows, those ideas that you can kind of arrange your work in small steps that will help you to achieve specific goals. So one of them is setting flows of articles. Let's start with that one. And you can see on the screen the others that we will discuss during this session. The first one is setting flows for articles. And I would like to focus on the right kind of diagram here, where we start with publisher and we go to happy researcher. I like to think about myself as a happy researcher, of course, if everything works. So by the way, today my laptop just died, and it is an unpleasant experience. I'm not very happy about this. But when everything works, all the software works fluently without crashing, then I become very happy in research. And this diagram shows different ways how you can get information from a publisher. And not only, nowadays, when you would like to share your research, you basically, first of all, you put it into archive. It's a standard practice. And then some publisher will put it on a paper and online. So your PDF version of an article is somewhere at the publisher's webpage. What can happen next? First of all, your PDF will be directly accessible from some webpage, which has a web link, of course. And then anyone can just go to that webpage, download your article, or read online, or do something with that. But it is just online. So this is a straight line, the blue one, from top to the research, which is on the bottom. But there are different ways as well. Foremost, some corporations like Google, for example, they create databases with a lot of articles. They gather all the research information in one big chunk, which is the database. You don't really see it, but it is somewhere provided by Google, provided by ScienceDirect, by Web of Science, and Scopus, some players like this. They are not publishers, but they are gathering the data and then redistributing it. Then there are 2 ways where how you can access the data. Lately, the AI become very popular, and we will be also looking through some tools. For example, ResearchRabbit. It also accesses a lot of articles through some database, and then applies artificial intelligence algorithms to provide suggestions to you. Or the old-fashioned way is to go to Google Scholar, Scopus, or Web of Science, and this is basically a search engine. And through that search engine, you can get directly your result by query, or you can set up an alert. And finally, on the very right of the screen, I would like to present this RSS, which is Rich Site Summary. And this is a pure feed of articles, which goes to you directly with your own filters. So here's an example, a workflow for this RSS. On the left, you can get the feeds from the publishers, you can merge them into one feed, you can filter the feeds. Then you can see in your RSS reader, you will see something like I'm showing here in the bottom, like table of contents graphics, which are illustrated, and they should tell you the whole story just in one picture. And then you can see the titles there. So I used to go through such abstracts and deciding whether I like this article or no. It is a very easy and pleasant way of going through hundreds of articles. So if I like the abstract, I will start the suitable article, and then I will just put it to my bibliography management software, which is there. However, now I would like to give you a very important idea. I'm actually a bit frustrated that there are very few of us. So just spread this message to everyone who you see in your group, to your colleagues, to your mom and dad, to everyone. That there is no magical tool that will make your research really fluent. There are so many different tools. Some of them will work for you, some of them will not never work. And it will depend on your personality, on your operation system, on your computer, on many factors, including your supervisor, because you have to account what are your colleagues actually using. So whatever I'm just showing you are different possible ways, and you would need to find your tool. I just want you to be aware of various tools. And now, this is the point where I would like to become very personal, because I really like this technology. I think this is the best technology. It became really popular somewhere in 2000s. That's exactly when I finished my school and I started my studies at the university. I entered the PhD level courses, and then I was using Google Scholar. It was not Google Scholar. It was Google RSS Reader, very very popular. And I was really literally looking through abstracts of many papers in a day. I was looking through more than hundreds of them, because this was so convenient. It's like looking Facebook nowadays. This is kind of doom scrolling, but in a good way, because you can feel that you doom scroll, but you're also doing something really important for your research. Because then you choose some articles, you will start them, and next day when you wake up and you are fresh enough, you just go through those articles with a good feeling that, okay, last evening I was kind of scrolling through a feed of articles and was very pleasant, colorful pictures, nothing special. Like it doesn't cost you any attention, any energy, and then you do very good work. So Google, they just killed the product, and there are so many products that Google killed, and it was so unpleasant experience. And then I started to use Yahoo Vibes. That was even better way, because there it's literally what you see there is a way of graphical programming. I had set up hundreds of feeds, like journals, let's say. Hundreds of journals were there, and I set out filters, and eventually I got only articles which interested me, in the same way with a graphical abstract picture, title, and text abstract. But in 2015, Yahoo Pipes, it was closed again, so Yahoo destroyed the project. This technology, RSS, is somewhat unlucky, because then maybe you have heard about Zapier, and something like Alfred you have on Mac. I think you have Mac, yes. Have you heard about Alfred?
No.
No, never ever. So on Mac you have a very interesting way of automating whatever you do. There is a program called Alfred, and you can just like join different kinds of software to work together. Perhaps to write a Twitter after writing some message in another software like Facebook, and it will be automating processes. So Zapier also suggested these technologies. The problem with Zapier is I don't really like to pay. So you need to pay for Zapier to automate the things. And I was a bit frustrated that I have to redo the whole process, hundreds of journals putting together. But I found my way, and I was using OwnCloud, which is a cloud provided by the University of Tartu. And eventually, just a year ago, they just killed the feature of going through the rich site summary in RSS. And now I was really frustrated. Anyway, also I found this, I will show you with the mouse. I found some tools which were working for dozens of years, small companies. They are not going to kill anyone, anything, any program. And eventually in 2023, the publisher just changed the whole links. So the idea that you provide a link to this rich site summary to a program, which will filter all the articles and give you only the needed articles, which is basically such a great idea. And then the publisher changes the links, and that means you need to, again, copy-paste the link into the program again and again. So Zotero, we're talking about Zotero. Zotero also implemented RSS feeds. Somehow they have frozen this project, but there is a possibility that with the next update, with Zotero number 7, they will reintroduce RSS. And every half a year, when I'm giving this course, I go to forums of Zotero and I start typing there, please, have you any updates? And I start writing also on their GitHub, trying to motivate them. Let's push this, because what we really need is one interface where you could put your journal, the favorite journal, and then what you should see on your screen, a graphical abstract, like I shown on the previous slides. And of course, it actually concerns different fields. It could be biology, geography, chemistry, physics, mathematics, where you can, by looking at the figure, understand what is this article about. I'm not sure about philology and philosophy, maybe it's not so important there, but for many of us, it's really the way to do it. And also, what I found this year, that eventually people start to think about something that you can control, and rich site summary is something that you do control because you set up a filter. And the reason is that now with artificial intelligence, you have the news all the time coming. Like it started with Facebook, for example, that you've got suggestions. Facebook kind of knows what you want. And I remember that there are also those funny videos on YouTube that eventually people start to see only in Instagram, for example. Oh no, it wasn't a TikTok. I tried TikTok once. It's a horrible experience. But the funny thing it was that on TikTok, someone started to see only bikini women just because the algorithm thinks that the person likes them. And that's because the algorithm catches the difference in milliseconds that you kind of such pictures kind of catch your attention, and then you stop for several milliseconds, and then the algorithm will decide that you really like this. But we don't want to live in that world where some triggers act like they provoke your reactions, but your slow thinking process of your brain understand that this is not what you really need. And research is exactly that field where we need to think calmly what we really need. And that's why nowadays, in this year, for example, there is a tendency to resurrect rich site summary as a tool for persons, not only in science, but in general, to create their own news fields, where you just choose what you really would like, what you would like to read, like Post-MS or the New York Times. And then you create your own filter that you like more sport, or you would like to see politics, and then you will see more news like this. And you deliberately do that without any algorithm or artificial intelligence. So that was a personal story, and I hope that you liked it, because you can see that there are many technologies. A very simple idea, you just need to get some new information as it is. Now I would go to another way of flowing articles to you. Of course, you have Google Scholar, you have Scopus Web of Science. All of them, they basically have this kind of workflow that you can go to them. You have to log in for Scopus and Web of Science. And to do that, I'm showing that the first step is going to UTI, where you will see, can you see my screen? Right. Where can you see those Scopus Web of Science? I will try Scopus right now, because from home I could not. Let's see, maybe it will recognize that I'm from. No, it actually doesn't. So it's unfortunate. Let's try again. Scopus. Brought to you by Tartu Recorder Amatko. This is a good sign. Yes, okay, good. So now I can search for documents, and my favorite topic of research is, for example, ionic liquids. Just hear how it sounds. Great, ionic liquids, a nice topic. And then you can just add ionic liquids, and you can see this Boolean operator, which means these two words must be together. And you will see a lot of articles, more than 100,000, also showing that this topic was not really popular a decade, thousands, 100 years ago. And then eventually in 2000, it became really popular. And nowadays, database. So the peak of the interest or any liquid was somewhere in 2010. What can we do here? Now we just applied one kind of filter to all the articles. We could try to set up a search alert here. And that is a problem now. I could not set it up, although the idea is very easy that if you do it under your account, you will be able to get all the articles on that specific topic filtered for you. All the updates will come to your email, or they can also create RSS so you can put it into your RSS reader. However, there is a small problem that next I need to authenticate somehow. Let's try with University of Tartu. Tartu, not Tartu. No. Let's try again. Mr. Tartu, mail. Now I need to sign up with organization. Great. Careful, careful. There should be somewhere University of Tartu. Why Moscow State University? Here it is, University of Tartu. And let's try. Okay. Documents. Okay. And now we can see that somehow I cannot search and I cannot do that. Maybe you will be more lucky. If it doesn't work, don't worry. You always have Google Scholar. Sorry, I just told you always, but in reality, they might kill this product again at any time. So there is no guarantee that it's going to last. For the time being, what you can do here, you can search something like this ionic liquid, and you put partners so that it will be exact phrase. Then you can add something like double layer. I will just add double it. But I would like to exclude something from here, and I will write minus. If you have never heard about the specific keywords and phrases, then you can go to ChatGPT and ask how to write a query to find something in Google Scholar. And ChatGPT is very good in finding some tips and tricks how to put a very good query for your Google Scholar, not only for Scholar, for Scopus, for Google search, for anything. So let's exclude Estonian. Just, I don't want to see my own articles. Good. And maybe I would like to find author. I'm very sorry, I'm not used to this keyboard. Author. So my good colleague from France, author Salam, and perhaps here, or maybe it's like entitled. Let's see, super capacitor. Now, with so many queries, perhaps it will not find anything. And in here, let's see, no, nothing here. But just an example that you can try specific keywords, and now you can see it found something about ionic liquids by Matthew Salan, published in in title you have supercapacitor, and it is published in 2018. Here I can change the range from 2016, then the result will be the same. I also can, you see, change type. So now we will have only review type article. And finally, you can see here, create alert. So I'm not using that simply because it's going to send me some emails to my Gmail. I don't really want so many emails here, but this is something that you can try. I'm just giving you this idea that articles from the publishers go somewhere to the database, and from that database you can create alerts. Also, with alerts, you can go to Matthew Salan, for example, and you can start following him. And again, whenever the same author will write a new article, you will get an email notification. So if in your field you don't really have so many new articles, that is the best way to get the newest articles at once. Now let me change my account. sign out, sign in. Just have another account to show you one feature. Okay, I need to authenticate. Nice. Yes, it's me. And that's okay. Please, today, if you don't yet have a Google Scholar account, please do so. Oh, by the way, sometimes it's recognized for some reason that it should be Russian language interface, or very often it's Estonian. Then it's difficult to change somewhere, perhaps in settings. But the point is, what I would like to show you here, that Google recommends me some articles basing on my research profile. And my research profile is right here. When I click on profile, then it will automatically find all my articles and it will put here. In our Estonian environment, scientific area, you can put Google profile to your ETIS, which is Estonian Research Agency website. So in the future, when you finish your PhD, you will get a degree. You will also have a web page on Estonian. You will be Estonian researcher, you know. And when you start applying for grants, for example, you would like to do postdoc somewhere, you can apply for Estonian money. By the way, you must know it. You must know it. So I don't know why others are not joining the seminar when we are sharing such important, vital information. You can apply for Estonian funding even before you graduate. So when you are finishing your PhD, you can apply for a postdoc in advance, stating that this year I'm going to finish the PhD in June, and the application is in March. Like right now, my PhD students just applied for research grants to the postdoc. And then, when you are doing so, you can add your Google Scholar profile. It's so cool. You see, you don't need to do anything. You just go to Google Scholar. Oh, I managed to change the language, and you put your data, your name. You can even put several names. For instance, women, they tend to change their family names more often than men. And my family name is particularly tricky, so somewhere I have written that I have different ways of writing it. And then Google will be looking through the publisher's web pages, gathering information in the database, analyzing, and making this nice web page for you. You don't need to put anything by yourself manually. And because it has information about what I'm publishing, Google Scholar will be providing me some interesting articles related to my field. So this is also a nice way to get articles to your collection. So let's go back to my presentation.
I just have a quick question
Great.
about this Google Scholar. So there's also, what are they called? Research maybe on web science. Then there's also, you can also add yourself to Scopus. You can add yourself to ResearchGate. What would you say is the most useful place where you can create a profile?
That's a great question. Let me write it in the chat. What I advise you to have is ORCID. Why ORCID? Because nowadays like ORCID, this one is used to authenticate to many publishers' web pages. So you can use it as ID. I think this is supported by the European research. What's going on? I need to just go to ORCID. Yeah, here it is, ORCID ID. So definitely make this. For European grants, you would need ORCID. For American grants, you will need ORCID. For publishing in European and American journals, you definitely write ORCID. For example, let me just show you how it looks like. Which I will Google for myself, and I will take some article which published in maybe this one, and definitely this one, because that was an American journal here. And you should be able to see, yeah, you see when I'm hovering the information of the author, like myself, then the publisher will provide my ID. This greenish button means that's ORCID ID. And when I click, I will find information about myself. And again, this is number one choice. Why? Because you don't need to update it. You just create the profile and forget about it. Someone will make all the work for you. Then the second option is Google Scholar. Why? Because it's free. Because again, it's very easy to make, and then you don't need to basically even move your finger. It will be automatically updated. Then here you can see that I also have Scopus author ID and researcher ID. I actually don't know why do I have them. Researcher ID, it is for Estonian grants, sometimes they ask it, so why not? Then it will be Web of Science. What I don't really like about them is that they would like to keep you inside Web of Science. They don't want really to share. For instance, they sometimes give me an alert that someone has cited me, and then they will show on their webpage, on Web of Science, this kind of article. And they provide even DOI and the title, but they don't want me to click. So I would really love to go to the paper and read it, but they don't give the link. So they give me DOI, I have to copy paste. And this kind of attitude, the small detail shows that perhaps it's not the best choice. And I think in this competition between ORCID ID and Research ID, ORCID ID wins because it's publicly funded. It's some European project, and it's like open from the beginning. It's not about business. And the same Scopus, I have it, and I have this particular family name, and perhaps many of you also have some problems with many names, or you have num, so special character in your name. And I had to talk to Scopus, which is Elsevier, to change my name. So for some reason, they create several accounts all the time for me. So they want me to review a paper in some journal, maybe an Epicemicata, and then they will find me out and create a new profile for me. And I have to explain, it's me, I already have an account in Scopus, you are the same company, please don't do that. Manage my account because it creates a lot of conflicts for me. So again, like with Google Scholar, that doesn't happen. With ORCID, it doesn't happen. With really big companies with huge budgets, it happens all the time. I don't know why. So your question is what to do?
All of them.
All of them, but definitely ORCID and Google Scholar. And then you wish you can do Research ID and Scopus ID. I have never seen that they are beneficial to me. I mean, like ORCID is really beneficial. You are using it. Google Scholar is great because you can just copy paste and send it to any new colleague of yours, and you can discuss your papers. And it's easy to find there. With ORCID, one detail is that it's difficult to find. It's literally a numerical ID. So if I ORCID, I can try to find myself, and this is not on the top of the, I don't even see myself. So that's the problem with ORCID. It's not showing up in Google. Do you already have ORCID? May I try?
No, I don't. I have been meaning to do it ever since I graduated, but I've been very lazy with it.
Yeah, and of course, if you have so many source stars, then it would be a bit difficult. Whether if you have Google Scholar, it's usually much easier to find there. So that's why I would prefer Google Scholar when I'm talking informally to someone, and I must have ORCID ID if I'm publishing and applying for grants. Thank you for that great question. Now, I have a usual problem, which you don't see, is that I have Zoom with this panel, which always blocks my view. Now let's go back to something here. Yeah, so we discussed, you know those tools, many of them, search engines, Google Scholar, Scopus, Web of Science, and basically in all of them you can go create a query with keywords, special characters, and operators like or and a, and finally you can create alerts there. There is another way, which is a new one, and it's not the same, but it has this flavor that you're kind of mapping literature. And the best example is Research Rabbit. It's also the best because it is free. I think it's somewhere it should be written free forever. So they have changed their strategy. They provide it for free, and I have this problem that I don't really remember how do I log in here. I just mentioned that my computer has died somehow for some reason right now, and I'm not sure whether I can. It is. Oh, I'm lucky. Nice. Who has tried Research Rabbit previously? Never ever. Someone in the chat, Oscar, Abdul, Signe, Akpana, have you tried Research Rabbit? It's just fun to try. And this is absolutely different way of interacting with articles with this interface and artificial intelligence behind. Let me show. Let me check if I have. Whoa, now I have a lot of things. Okay. In this morning, I've added a collection to my Zotero. For your demonstration. So let's say scaling correlation. What is great is that it is synchronized with Zotero. What is bad is it synchronized with your Zotero home directory. I have a lot of group libraries, which I just. Oh, okay. So I don't have my laptop, I don't have Zotero on this computer, unfortunately, but I can of course use the web interface just to show you how my collection look like. Thank you for your patience. I'm entering all this password and you're waiting for me. Thank you so much. Good. So I have those groups libraries. I'm mainly using only group libraries. I don't really have anything in my library. And moreover, if you would like to synchronize something on the web, then you will have this nasty limitation of 300 megabytes, which is not enough at all. So that's why I really love Zotero, because if you would like to use it for your own needs, then you can always unlimitedly synchronize everything on your computer. If you don't use this web interface on Zotero.org, then you don't have this limitation of 300 megabytes. You can keep as many articles on your computers as you wish. And there is this myth that then if you would like to synchronize, then you have this limitation, but in fact, you can just put your catalog, Zotero catalog, into any cloud, and it will be synchronized. On another computer, you will install Zotero, and you will install your cloud, and you can get all the references from there. So it is possible to have unlimited number of articles in Zotero in your home library. If you would like to use this interface provided by the company Zotero, then you would need to pay. I'm paying, and it is worth the money. So I have unlimited storage for all the groups. And let me check something. So just to show you how it works, I have those groups. Some of them are active, some of them are already dead. My group is VLab, we have 24 members. And another group, which I used to belong to, it should be electrochemistry here, it has 66 members. And this is still an active group. So I can see from the list that just recently in February, 4 more students were added to that group. So I'm really happy that I'm paying for that and I'm sharing it with my colleagues and they just use it. So now if we divide by the number of participants in the library, it costs almost nothing. I had to give you those details. They are not always discussed in the tutorials. And if you have any questions about them there, please ask in the chat. We'll discuss. Now I will go back to the point that
I have one quick question about the group group libraries. So as someone from humanities, I've never thought about something like that. So I just wanted to ask, how is it useful? What makes it useful to have this group library?
Okay, I would postpone this question because this is something that we need to discuss. Group library, it always has benefits, but also drawbacks, pros and cons. And we will discuss it a bit later. I just wanted to show that there is this library and only your home library, somehow in the interface, it is called my library, and everything is group library. So only my library at the moment is synchronized with research rabbits. And only for today, I imported some articles into this home library, and now it is in this research rabbit. So what's this pause about? Well, if you have all the skin relations here, and you can analyze all of them, you see there are so many kind of features here, so you really need to start using it in order, if you love it, and then you decide that this is a tool I must be using always, then you would need to spend a lot of time just to get used to that. But what is really cool now, I'm clicking on that articles, and I would like to see similar works, and the AI chose about 2,000 of them here, and it will show this awesome mapping. So this is a feature of artificial intelligence that basically it shows you the network, the connection between different articles. And moreover, with the color and size, it will emphasize what is more citable, like more important. So you have the weight, whether it is an impactful paper or not. Now I just created, instead of a network, I created a pipeline showing how it was progressed. Actually, it's very interesting. What is this paper from last century? Can I zoom? Evans. Oh no, okay, yeah. So Evans created some mathematical method. For half a century, no one did care about this method at all. But then eventually physicists find out that this particular summation method is useful in simulations, and nowadays everyone will be using Evans. So you can just learn by looking at the graphics so much about what you are researching. Susanna, will it make? Maybe we should. Okay, let's make an experiment with Susanna. Let's create a new collection. What's your topic?
Let's say latest thing. Wait, I'm gonna find you a.
Please write to the chat.
Yes, I'm gonna write it in the chat. Very easy. Transactional theory, for example.
Transactional theory.
Yes.
Great. Oh, what's going on? Create collection with. No, cancel. I need a collection with name transactional theory. We have this new collection. Let's go here. We need to add a paper. So the main idea, when you have this mapping, you need a seed.
Does it have to be a paper? Can it also be like a book?
Let's try a book. Do you
Let's
have
try
a
a
title?
very old book. Louise Rosenblatt.
Please write it. And I really like that this research remedy is for free, but it also has so many things. You can import from the Terra, you can add deep tech, you can add RIS, which are the formats for articles. And we can, of course,
It's very old, but let's see if it means something.
Let's see, all subject areas. Okay, so it will be going through Semantic Scholar, or it could go through PubMed. Let's use Semantic Scholar. So what I could do also.
So the thing is, this is very old, and I don't think it has like.
Is this one?
Sure.
It's not old. It's almost a year when I was born.
No. Well, okay. Well, yeah.
Okay, let's try this one. Maybe we should just ease the search for Research Rabbit because now it's a bit stuck. You see, sorry, it could not have failed. Let's try the title. So with articles, it's much easier because for articles, you usually have a DOI, and we could use DOI. For instance, I think this is an article. Let's search for, no, it's again a book.
Chapter, yeah.
It's chapter. Let's see.
I give you a very different. Should have picked something more recent.
Okay, so this is Journal of Education.
Yes.
So for sure, it must have some DOI. Let's see if we can see the DOI here. No, we don't see it.
Oh, it does have.
It does have the DOI. Nice. And let's see, maybe Research Rabbit also found the chapter.
Mhm.
Let's use this. Let's add to collection. Great. Now it's added there. And we again start with that seed. And with a lot of similar work, you see. And let's make a timeline. Does it make sense?
Mhm.
So Rosenblatt is here, and she's citing those guys, and those guys will be citing each other somehow. And you can infinitely go through that loop, because now you press on some article, and for that article you search for similar work, and again, and let's just repeat, and you find similar work, and again, and basically that's the way to spend the whole evening. After when you kind of you found something and you can just put it to your collection, yeah. And after all, you can synchronize your collection from here to the there. Free to, very interesting idea that you are working with networks and timelines. I think that almost the same does the other, which is called bitmaps. Connected papers as well, and bitmaps. Oh no, bitmaps is a bit different. I will talk about this. But connected papers does basically the same. Let's see that article. It will be creating different this kind of graph with all the information. You will be dropping, pressing, reading some TLDR summary. So that's how the artificial intelligence works here, not only creating the networks, but also summarizing for you. Okay. Connected papers, yep, insightful XYZ. This I wanted to try. Why? Because let's see. Okay, maybe I should go to my letter, which I just closed. And I wanted to compare two articles. The library. And this, my library. For some reason it doesn't show anything. Strange. Okay, I'll go to another library. You can still see my slides. I would like to search for two articles which start with the word universality. Hope that it doesn't take too long. And I wanted to do was use this experiment that we will enter DOI for both of the articles and just ask how are those connected. Let's see what the artificial intelligence will tell us. I wasn't there. Okay. So this one, and we can copy DOI from here. And the other one, that one, and again we can copy DOI. So that's why I really love the Terra, that we have so much information inside the interface. What would it be? So they are indirectly connected one after another. What we can learn else here? Skip the tool. We have basic info about the papers, great. General statistics about the paper. visual, how the paper connected. So it doesn't really impress me. And then we can start searching. Anyway, that's a tool. I will just close it. I'm not using this specific one. I know that Judah does use Semantic Scholar, and this is a better way for searching papers than Google Scholar. At least it's more advanced. I'm just demonstrating it to you. Perhaps someone in the chat, if you have ever used Semantic Scholar, please share your experience. So I just entered Doyle. Let's see if we can find out what it is. No, it didn't. It failed because, as the title says, it's semantic. So we should just provide the wording. Let's see. Arrangements. What you should see in a moment is that it will give you a lot of information about different articles, and it is more detailed than Google Scholar. Because Google Scholar is somewhat, what's the name? It's simple. Asket. Whereas this one is aimed to give you more information. Like it kind of similar, but still, if you press on the article, then you will immediately find some interesting information. Oops, that doesn't show. Maybe I should go back. Let's see. Okay, maybe it depends whether the article is gold open access or not, because when I was trying this, oh yeah, no. Not good examples. Let's see. Okay, I'll take this one because this should be open access and it still doesn't show me. Maybe like this. Well, what I was hoping to show you that when I was trying it for demonstration, it showed me the figures from the articles. I really like this. What you can see here, it shows you the citations in different formats. So Google Scholar provides you exactly the same, but more aesthetical, whether here you can just go through those in a text format. But in a way, it's also mapping. So a research rabbit will literally create a network of articles. This one shows the network of articles as text, as lists. Good, let me just demonstrate something else. So lead maps. It's very interesting because now you can kind of ask which, lead maps again, I think it will give you a map. So I'm confusing it with something else. What was it? It was another map. Maps and elicit. Okay, lead maps is another thing which gives you a map. Elicit is something different. I must add to my presentation elicit as well. Here it is. Have you ever tried elicit? No, so you have never tried. Okay, I'm just demonstrating you some options. This is okay. Elicit is kind of ChatGPT where you can chat and you can ask questions about something. For example, actually, I don't know. What would you like to know? Because now we can literally ask about research.
Can we just ask, what does it know about transactional theory? Or what kind of questions does it want? Or can it answer?
It helps you to find the literature. So it should not be like, what do you know? So you're not talking about a personal assistant, but whether you're kind of talking to a librarian. Can you find me some papers on transactions? Well, who has developed the theory? Is a theory, right? So we need to specify a question like this, and let's see whether it can find. And the result will be a text, which you should not copy paste, because you should be very cautious with that, because now you would not find your name, because you're a specialist, you know who has developed, but this elicit suggests that the transactional analysis an introduction to its theory and practice was developed by Pittman, which is probably not true.
It might be another theory that's in
Exactly. So
another field, so.
let me try about give me papers that show exceptions from the scaling relations in electron catalysis. Let's see. It's kind of universal principle in my area, and let's see if there are some exceptions from that. And so it will try to summarize in a meaningful way, which we can just read out loud, the scaling relations like catalysis which typically correlate energy rate and energy efficiency, which is not right, have been challenged by recent research. Martin 2020, I have no idea who Martin is, and might overcome versus. Oh, I probably need to read this paper because now this is interesting. I found something interesting. And then this paper I know both highlights limitations of these relations, promising methods to overcome trade-offs they imply. Yeah, and then you can go through. It's fun. I really use it because it gives you different results from any other tool. Not like a connection, but if you ask specifically like exceptions with the first one, and you have to invent that kind of questions, then this tool will provide you more context. Google Scholar doesn't do that. Google Scholar, it's about keywords. Research Rabbit is related to your seed because it will search in the database only papers which are related, so they are referring to each other. This one compares papers. It's a different way to analyze the literature. Yes. Right, so I will add this tool here later. What I'm writing here with 1, 2, 3, 4 is the description of how usual AI tools work nowadays. They are basically mapping. So you need to create the seed like an article, and then they will create the map just based on the relation of that article to everything else. And you travel through that kind of land that if it's a map, you kind of investigate this area, and finally you can save this result. But what's important that you should save it to something like bibliography management system. Of course, you can just download PDF, but this is old way and probably not so efficient. And when I was telling you that you must find the tool, then there is one of the tools that you must at least try. Okay, well, there is this last one and site, and again, that is about asking some questions. Let's just try an example. How many rats live in the New York City? And then you will have some estimates with references. I think that's impressive. And those should not be just invented by hallucinating AI, they should be real. And later you can just press on them and go through them. So with this kind of tools, you should just have time, and then you can have fun. Whenever you have time, and perhaps you are just tired from typing something or researching or doing something in the lab, and eventually you have some time just to relax. And I know that at the PhD level, you should be able to do that. You should have some free time. And you can just try these tools. You might find something really cool and interesting. Definitely you will have some fun. But also it depends on your attitude. You should not expect too much. Just lower your expectations from the beginning, okay? And then you might enjoy it. Because if you rely on it, if you kind of think that it is smarter, better than you and your supervisors, it is not. Moreover, it can give you some wrong information. It will be just wrong, erroneous. You are the expert to decide what is right and what's wrong. Good. We spent a lot of time on this AI, and that is deserved because they are so cool. And there are so many of them. Let's go to the next workflow. Whenever you read an article, how do you do that? Just for 15 seconds, think. You get an article in front of you, printed on web page. What do? How do you decide that this is the article that you must read?
Based on the abstract,
Good.
usually.
And how do you do that?
To read the abstract.
Do you read the abstract?
No, I just scroll looking for keywords and the plots.
Okay, which area are you working in?
Artificial intelligence, machine learning.
Okay, great. So you utilize like a natural neural network.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
keywords. So on the right, you have some instruction how you should do it, like read the introduction, but not the abstract. I don't know why. That's by Dr. Jennifer Rao. I would not agree with him. And then you have identify big questions, summarize the background, identify specific questions, identify the approach, draw diagrams. Why should you draw? So I don't know why is it so, but it's just an example that there might be different ways. My workflow would be just go to a publisher, you get the article, then read abstract and conclusion, check figures and tables. You don't really need to read abstracts. It's not obligatory. Especially in my field, yeah, people try to summarize abstract that it tells you, but probably conclusion is more informative because that's where they not only need to tell you why are we going to do this. I already know why you're going to do that. I'm in the same field, so I don't really need to read those motivation lines. And then they start to write this abstract that we have used this method, but I already understood from the title that you're computational or you're experimentalist. I don't really need that information. What I really need to know whether your result is impactful or related to my research, whether I can find some answer from your research and then base on it. And for that reason, I would go to conclusions.
But it's very field dependent.
Exactly. Yes, it's very field dependent. The third step in my guideline is a use connector, and this is the way to add to Zotero. Most of you know how it works. It's just click and it will be in your library. And in between, I have provided this YouTube query. If you click on that, you will just find out that many young experienced researchers, they have created a lot of small and funny videos about how to read articles, and you just can go through them. Basically, they provide their kind of algorithm, how they would go through the paper, and I'm certain, 99% certain, no one will tell you read the whole article. Because there are so many of them, you don't have time for that. You need to skim them. That's the technique. Skimming articles. So whatever algorithm you choose, don't really try to print all articles given to you by supervisor, just skim it. Also with your colleagues and supervisors, you would like to discuss the literature. You need to understand, that's why you must read the best papers ever to understand the goods, how it works, the methods, the motivation of the research. But for most papers, you skim them and understand general background, methodology, which is repeated every time, and then find out what are the results. In many cases, you don't even agree with the conclusions of the authors and what they discuss because you see the results and you can make your own conclusion from them. Just keep in mind, use some specific, simple algorithm. When you see the paper, you need to take a decision whether you want it in your collection or you don't want. Easy. Let's go to the next. That's about reading. So now, I'm so frustrated that I don't have Zotero on that computer and my personal laptop has crashed. Because I would love to see, to show you how I'm doing it. In Zotero now they have PDF viewer, and I'm usually going through this PDF, highlighting everything what I really need, and I think it's important. And then I can extract all the highlights. Not only highlights, but also figures and my own notes, and then I will create a report. But I have a video about this. I think maybe this one is. Hello, I'm Vlad, and I'm glad to. Wow, oh, this is a video. Okay, then I will share it with you, and we can just. Oh, wait, that's another video. Okay, that is the video. So in this video, we will see how to use PDFgear, which is a PDF viewer with artificial intelligence inside. And I will show you how I'm usually highlighting the text and finally extracting a report from that. Hello, I'm Vlad, and I'm glad to share my experience on integrating artificial intelligence into the Terra. I actually don't know how it works, so I will just go and try it out. First of all, we need this PDFgear editor, and I have already installed, but let me just do it again. Downloading it from the website takes some seconds. Okay, let me open it, install. It's almost done. And at the same time, I could go to this GitHub repository, which is the Terra Open PDF. And I'm downloading that XPS, which I already done, as you can see from here. And therefore, I can now go to the Terra, install the plugin, developers, Oh, where was it? Add-ons, of course. And I don't have much. Check for all this, install add-on from file, and that was something like the Terra Open PDF. Let's see what it does. Now it should have an option open with external viewer, which is PDFgear. Great. Let's say I have this article, and now I can start chatting using ChatGPT. And of course, I would like to ask a simple question. What is this article about? Send. Now I don't need to copy paste text anywhere, and I will get an answer right here, chatting with artificial intelligence. The article describes a large data set of molecules and reaction energies obtained from different quantum chemical methods. It also provides details about dataset structure and generation. Great. And the next tip is whenever I go through that article, I can go and annotate it, perhaps guided by the artificial intelligence, which I consider as my personal research assistant. So there are no moral confusion with that. It's actually helping me, not doing my thinking instead of me. Good. I want just to highlight something for which I will just use the yellow standard color. This is not the best article. I will get those numbers from here. Anyway, let me just illustrate it and let me copy paste the output from the chat, create a note, put it somewhere here, so visible place. Let me just position it like this. That's it. I save it, I close it, I go to my Zotero, I click on add note from annotations, and I get the annotated text with reference to that article. Grabbing the note out of that PDF and also the highlights that I've made. That's it. After that, I can just click again and generate a report from that. And that would be the basis for my literature review. Thanks for listening. Nowadays, there is another artificial intelligence in Lutero. Very unhappy that I cannot show you how it worked because it was super cool. It's Aria Lutero. You can install it the same way by downloading XPI file. And now you can see on the screen what it should do. You install it, If you have subscription for OpenAI, then it will use the latest ChatGPT. If not, actually don't know what will happen. Probably it still will work, but it will be using the oldest model, which is for free. So you will be asking questions, and I've tried it like a week ago because it's relatively new thing. And I was exactly asking, please compare article universality for oxygen reduction reaction and another article universality for oxygen evolution reaction. And it was writing insanely meaningful text for me. Well, actually, it was obvious. It was just stating obvious, but I would say that's the level of bachelor or master students already to compare two articles and give you obvious, simple conclusions. How are they different and how are they similar? Like they use the same methods, but they focus on different reactions. That is what sometimes you need to do yourself. But now we have this personal research assistant, and it will do for you a lot of stuff. Good. Let's go. And do you have questions about this? Then I go back to my slide and I again highlight that this is a separate workflow. I really love that there are not anything else like EndNote or Mendeley because you cannot do the same things there. Here, what you can, when you are reading the article, you can add tags, you can add links to other articles, you can write notes to them that there are this reference. Then you can open this article inside the there in PDF, highlight everything. You can open it with PDFgear, which has AI inside. Then when you are reading, yes, of course, now you have chosen your article, so now spend some time on reading introduction, results, discussion, methods, in whatever order you think meaningful. And while reading, definitely highlight relevant text. That is something that I always tell my students and colleagues. Read once. Read and highlight, because next time you will be thinking, oh, there is this article, oh, I don't remember exactly what's the name, but okay, we found it, and now there was somewhere, and if it's not highlighted, you are kind of doing the same process again and again. But if you highlight, then you do it once and forever. And really, I feel that nowadays we don't have much time to waste. So let's do once and very well, and then you will see that it benefits you. So next, this tip that you can extract annotation from the Zotero and Brains reports. I made a huge literature review. I wanted to show how it works because I was reading dozens and dozens of papers, and in all those papers they have the same kind of graph comparing catalytic activity of different materials. So basically we have a lot of articles showing more or less the same graph with the same reference there. And while I was reading in every article, I was selecting specifically that kind of figure. And then when I created this annotation extraction and this report, I have all of them. And it's so easy now to compare all of them. You know, you could do that by hand, and I would do that a dozen years ago. I would do exactly this kind of analysis. Nowadays, I just select, forget, extract, get the whole report with all the needed graphics. And with this graph, you can go to your senior, junior colleague and say, see, those are the results. Let's analyze, let's do something even cooler than that. And when you are extracting, by the way, Zotero will do the citations for you. So you will know from which article you got that figure. Now, another workflow. In the chat, please write if you have ever created some scientific graphics for front ends or just a table of contents figure. Do you use this, Susanna?
Not really, because I don't need to. Yeah.
Juan, and you? Do you have that in your fields that you have to create some kind of graphics that illustrates the whole article, or you are asked to make a front page of the journal?
Yeah, we have some things like that. I don't think I use the formal visualization techniques because I only plot like histograms and grid patterns. So
Okay, in my field, like in chemistry, it's very popular because we can create really cool graphics. And I've taken this from Melanie because now there is a trend that there are artists helping us to create those front ends. And that is a bit interesting because a century ago, artists were actively working with scientists to create figures for scientific publications. Because basically, what we can do with a photo right now, like we have invented a new setup in the laboratory, a lot of equipment all together. We can just copy paste it, or we have AutoCAD graphic of the same, so it's coming from computer. But those days, people, they needed to show the same, so they called an artist to draw all the realistic figures. Real drawing takes a lot of time, effort. Moreover, the graphics itself, they were handmade, most of them. Even the histograms were handmade, you know. Nowadays, it's so easy. Today, it's a bit different. So artists now create those front covers of journals. And I know several of them. And also with my colleagues, we are discussing whether we should pay some artists to create, because if you would like to publish in a very high impact journal, then you should do it visually attractive. So I've created some videos about what I know about the color, and the thing is that I was choosing to go to the Artist Academy or to go study chemistry at the university. For some reason I choose chemistry, but I still love visual visual part of the science. So I created some videos for you. I'm not going to talk much about them. These are about colors, in particular that you should choose them wisely because about 1% of population do not see the same way as perhaps you do. Do you have visual deficiency? No. No? Are you sure? Should we check? In that video, you will have some links, some tests that would be fun. And on YouTube, you don't find many videos, so I give you some links about Inkscape for science and Coursera course about visualization in science. These are really cool. And again, if you have time, please, that would be a wonderful experience for you, just spending some evenings, days. About the color, what I wanted to highlight that for some reason, I don't really feel that I would like to create front covers because no one actually sees a journal, like I just showed you. They are beautiful, but no one sees. And the journals just recently asked, would you like to draw us a front cover? First of all, I have to do a lot of work. And secondly, they want me to pay 2,000 euros for that. So I said, well, it's not going to make any effect, but figures are still very important in the publication. And here's my workflow, how I create figures for my field. I definitely start with a sketch on a paper by hand. I always use a template which is given by the guidelines of the article, of the journal where we submit. This is really important. It's so obvious, but in many cases, like students start with just drawing somewhere a huge figure, and then you need to put it into one column in your article, and eventually you don't see anything there, because that was from the beginning a wrong approach. You should make it the same size. And then you will find out that on most monitors, what will appear on print like 1 centimeter, on your monitor it will be looking like 1.5 centimeters. So there is a mismatch of what you print and what you see on the screen. You should take it into account. But when you are using some programs like Inkscape, then you can just define the width of your figure there. You should use suitable software. You should use this kind of, if you use vector graphics, then when you edit, you have some kind of layers and you have groups. Even if you use PowerPoint, you can select something and then you can click group, and then you can move it, rotate it as a group. So use those things. And now my tip is that always save some versions of your drafts. Not just final figure, but make some figure number 1, 2, 3 versions, A, B, C, however you do it, but please save them. Finally, you can also examine the color definitions with GIMP, which you will learn from the videos. You can definitely try to print it out, and especially in grayscale. Then you will see whether it's going to work for everyone. That's really crucial when you're writing proposals, because you don't really know how the reviewer is going to read your proposal. Is he colorblind, or is she printing on black and white? Please make it so that everyone will see it the same way as you want it to be visible. And finally, the tip that probably, again, it's so obvious, but do ask at any step when you have some question and doubt, ask your colleagues, how do they see? And now I'm showing on the right some example from my research. This is some iconical figure. This is not mine on the top right corner. It's just iconical in my field, showing some difference between crowding over screen. Then with my student, we decided, okay, we would like to show something similar, and we tried to do the real visualization of our simulation. But then we decided, okay, let's simplify. And what this animated GIF that you can see are those all 30, 40 versions that we have tried and discussed between whether to use color, whether to use transparency, whether to simplify, add text, remove text, different aspects. And finally, we decided that this last figure actually tells that story that we want to tell. I'm not certain if it's still good, but you know, we were thinking how and why we would like to show something. And I suggest you should do something similar. Just have a workflow, a process of how you draw the figures. So Susanna, do you draw any figures?
No.
You're so lucky. Good, because those graphical abstracts in many fields, again, I'm showing that in some RSS viewer, you will see them like this. And just by taking a look on each figure, the reader must understand, oh, that is something related to my field, and I would like to read it. But if the figure doesn't tell you anything, so the read doesn't bell in your head, then you have missed your rhythm. So you can see that. Though sometimes it's just like a riddle. You look at it, why is the Death Star here? Why do they have this very famous sulfide iron complex here? What is it about? You are already curious and you would like to read a bit more. Even if it's not related to your topic, you would like to know what is this crazy idea they suggest. And now I'll go to some Soma. Which is Soma? Soma is social media. And nowadays it's also important. And here I highlight that definitely do the profile at Google Scholar and ORCID. That's my advice. So forget about research idea and Scopus idea. These two are important.
And in Estonia, it is as
And
well.
Estonia, it is, yes, it is counted. And then try to have maybe not X, which is Twitter, because it's now strange. Nobody knows what's going on with it, but LinkedIn is a professional network, so try to have a LinkedIn at least. What you could do there is described in this post by me. What I tried, I really love trying different things. So this is, I also write the story, but the thing is that we go to publication, and I tried to, I have to log in to show what's written here. So you don't see what's going on there. And I don't know how to log in as well. You know, I will skip that. I will just tell you with my own words that we have the new publication, and I decided, let me find the way, what's the best, the shortest way to publish it on social media. And I've tried different AI tools like TDRL, which is making a short summary of the paper, or just clicking on the web page of the publisher, which you always have. And one of the main conclusions is that at least when you go to the publisher web page, then it costs you almost nothing to click on that button. Where is this button? There should be a button. Share, Twitter, click, and that's it. And there would be some text. Just takes seconds, but you spread the word about your publication. The last one, as I tell you, I love experimenting. The last time what we did was what is the web page for Estonian news? It is
Yes,
Novaka.
I guess.
But then it should be in Estonian. Okay. Yeah. Should be somewhere here. Oops, I'm sorry for that noise. Yep. So we made a post to Navato, and sometimes for you it seems, whoa, I need to write some text for this public dissemination. You don't really have time. I don't know how to do that. It's absolutely so different from my field. I'm afraid I don't want. What we did here, we used our article, we gave it to ChatGPT. Please write a popular summary. Then we actually spent some time, but like 15 minutes, to rewrite it, to make it actually ours, and then change the text and change the errors to make it real good text. And then we used something like DeepL to translate it to Estonian, which is again artificial intelligence translator, better than Google Translate. When you translate it here, let me just show you. What's peculiar is that you have to find the right wording, and it does allow you to click on every word and find a synonym. And for that translation, it was crucial because it doesn't know about chemistry. We are specialists. So we spent another 15 minutes, maybe half an hour, to refine the text. I'm also not the native speaker in Estonian, so we gave them to journalists. Journalists asked some questions, refined the text, boom, it went. And it made such an effect that later we also posted the English version with the figure. Figure took actually more time than rewriting all the texts. But all together, I think it took for two people 2 personal hours. In 2 hours, we done everything. I basically here I took the figures from our articles and I put them different ways. I added some line on top just to simplify the story that we kind of have a problem, there is a limit, we have an idea, and we provide solution. And the same we did with the text. We needed to name all the authors, all the main achievements, some ideas. We quote, so like we kind of telling something in the story by ourselves, but this is just the same narrative. We're writing what this article about. And then eventually it went to the English media. It was translated to many strange websites. So this is also a good story. And I would like to encourage you. It doesn't really take so much time. You have this writing barrier, and you know how to handle it when we are talking about your own research because you have more experience. But in fact, with something like ChatGPT, you can easily overcome the barrier that you are not specialist in public relations. You are. Not, it's so easy. You can make a popular scientific article, so do it. And perhaps do it like I do. I always just, I don't do the same all the time, but I just want to learn something new and cool. So I go and investigate how it works for LinkedIn and how it works for Navater, which is a Estonian website. You can try something else. So by the way, now the final message. I'm sorry that we are a bit, yeah, but we also started a bit late, so I will just finish that. Now, we were talking about mostly bibliography management in so many aspects, like finding the literature in the first place, and then putting it as a Terra, then analyzing it with some new tools. And finally, if you publish the paper, now you can write a popular scientific article or post it on Twitter or LinkedIn. Just keep in mind that this is management in general. So what kind of other management you are already doing? You do bibliography management with Zotero. You do correspondence management with Outlook. So Gmail nowadays it's not, because now you cannot send your university emails to Gmail. I used to do that, so I really love Gmail. Now I have to delete Gmail from here. I'm only using Outlook, but it's management, just in its essence. Then some of you definitely is using Obsidian. I remember that some of you wrote it to the feedback, and this is notes management. With time management, have you heard about this Pomodoro technique? Well, if not, then you definitely know what calendar is. And with data management, we are all using OneDrive, OnCloud by University of Tartu, or Google Drive. For communication, LinkedIn is basically a manager for communication. Discord is communication. It's a tool to manage communication. It's just easing out. We are putting the groups together. We know that's a closed group. We know that the rest, seminar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're right there. This is management. Then there are project managements. If you have never tried it, you can try google.com, which is a Estonian company, and just try it. With social media management, there are some TweetDesk and France. I advertised France last time. That's the app that I really like the most. And what we very rarely do in science is project management. I'm just showing you how it could be for a large project that we have packages, tasks, and how it should go through the time. And finally, with social media management, I'm just showing this France. Well, I think I did give you another name, but if you, because I'm using free open software, that one should be payable, but it does as I say, you can have all the social media in one window. Great. Now, thank you so much for your attention. Do we have questions that you would like to discuss? No. So my traditional question to you, what was the most impactful thing that you have learned today that you would definitely want to try? You can tell us well, and Oscar, if you would like, you can tell us, or just write it into the chat. What is one single thing?
As well. We can also continue this in Discord.
Discord, yes. Please also write Discord. What is it for you that you have learned today that you would like to try? Are you already writing to Discord?
Mm-hmm. I'm asking the question in Discord.
Oh, great. Good.
So we don't have any other questions. We
Continue.
can continue. You can also join us in Discord if anyone answers. You can also add tools that you've already tried to Discord as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the students. So, yeah.
I definitely share the presentation as soon as I'm back home.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know, if you don't have any questions, I think we can finish for today.
Let's finish for today.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.